Dad, Jesus came to my room last night, X said, looking up from his cereal bowl with those bright, innocent eyes that always seemed to see more than they should. Elon nearly choked on his coffee. His 5-year-old son had just dropped what might be the most unexpected bombshell of his entire life. And trust him, he'd had his share of surprises. "What did you say, buddy?" Elon asked, setting down his mug and giving him his full attention. The kitchen suddenly felt different, charged with something he couldn't quite name. X put down his spoon and turned to face him completely. Jesus. He was in my room. We talked for a really long time. Elon felt something shift inside him. "Tell me more about this, X. What did Jesus look like?" Without hesitation, X began describing a man with kind eyes and long hair, wearing simple white clothes that seemed to glow softly in the darkness of his room. The detail in his description was remarkable for a 5-year-old. He spoke with such certainty, such clarity, that Elon found himself hanging on every word. "He wasn't scary at all, Dad. He was really nice." He smiled at me and asked if we could talk. Elon leaned forward, his scientific mind warring with something deeper, something that felt like wonder. "What did you two talk about?" "Lots of things. But Dad, he said something really important. He said I needed to tell you something special." The way X said it, with such seriousness, made Elon's chest tighten. This wasn't a child playing pretend or recounting a dream. There was something different about his demeanor, something that made Elon believe he was telling him exactly what he experienced. He said that people are going to need hope soon, really, really soon, and that you're going to help give it to them. Elon sat back in his chair, trying to process what he was hearing. His son, who had never shown any religious inclination, was telling him about a vision of Jesus with details that seemed impossible for him to have imagined on his own. "X, are you sure this wasn't a dream? Sometimes dreams can feel very real." X shook his head firmly. "No, Dad, I was awake. I even got up to get some water, and when I came back he was still there, waiting for me." The conviction in his voice was unshakable. Elon had never heard him speak with such certainty about anything, not even his favorite toys or games. This was different. This was something that had clearly made a profound impact on him. "What else did Jesus tell you?" X's eyes lit up, as if he'd been waiting for Elon to ask that exact question. "He told me that you have a really important job coming up, something that's gonna help lots and lots of people believe again." Elon felt a chill run down his spine. "Believe in what, buddy?" "In God, in Jesus, in hope." X paused, then added with the matter-of-fact tone that only children can master. "He said the world is going to get really dark for a while, but that you're going to help bring the light back." Elon stared at his son, searching his face for any sign that this was an elaborate game or story, but all he saw was sincerity, truth, and something else, a kind of peace that seemed far beyond his years. The rest of that morning, Elon couldn't concentrate on anything. X's words kept echoing in his mind, each repetition making them feel more significant, more real. He found himself stealing glances at X as he played with his toys, looking for any sign that he was making this up. But there was nothing. X seemed completely normal, playing and laughing as always. Except for one thing, there was a new quality to his demeanor, a kind of quiet confidence that hadn't been there before. When Grimes came to pick him up for her week, Elon almost told her about the conversation. Almost. But something held him back. Maybe it was the fear that she'd think he was losing his mind, or maybe it was something deeper, a sense that this was meant to stay between X and him for now. After they left, Elon found himself pacing the empty house, replaying every detail of what X had told him. The specificity of his description bothered him in the best possible way. He'd mentioned details about Jesus that Elon was certain he'd never heard before. The way his voice sounded like warm water, how his hands had small scars that somehow didn't look painful, how his presence made the whole room feel safe and happy. Elon decided to do something he rarely did. He looked up information about religious visions in children. What he found was both fascinating and unsettling. Throughout history, children had reported visions of religious figures with remarkable consistency in their descriptions, often including details they couldn't have known through normal means. But this was his son they were talking about. His brilliant, logical, scientifically minded son who asked him complex questions about space and engineering. The same kid who'd never shown any interest in fairy tales or make-believe. 3 days later, X called Elon on video chat. He looked excited, almost bursting with something he wanted to share. "Dad, guess what? Jesus came back." Elon nearly dropped his phone. "He did? When?" "Last night. And, Dad, he told me more things. Really important things that I have to tell you." Elon could hear Grimes in the background, asking X who he was talking to, but his attention was completely focused on him. "X, can you tell me about it now? Or should we wait until you come back home?" "I can tell you now. It's really important." X glanced around, then whispered into the phone, "Jesus said that something big is going to happen soon. Something that's going to scare a lot of people. But he said you're going to know what to do." "What kind of something big?" X looked thoughtful, the way he always did when he was trying to remember something exactly right. He didn't say exactly what it was, but he said it would make people stop believing in good things. And that's when you'll need to help them remember that God is still there. Elon felt that same chill from before, but stronger this time. Did he say anything else? "Yeah, he said that you already have everything you need to help people. You just don't know it yet." X paused, then added, "And Dad? He said he's really proud of you. Even when you don't believe in him, he believes in you." Those words hit Elon like a physical blow. He'd never considered himself a religious person. He'd always been more focused on science, on technology, on tangible things he could see and measure. The idea that Jesus, if this was really happening, was proud of him felt both impossible and deeply moving. "X, did Jesus say when this big thing is going to happen?" "Soon," he said, "really soon. Maybe next week, maybe next month, but soon." Elon felt his world tilting slightly. His 5-year-old son was delivering what sounded like prophecies, and the strangest part was that Elon was starting to believe him. Elon couldn't sleep that night. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw X's earnest face delivering those impossible messages. By morning, he'd made a decision. He needed to talk to someone about this, someone who might understand what was happening. He called his old friend Sam, a pastor who'd known the family for years. They'd had many philosophical discussions about faith and science, always respectful but from very different perspectives. "Sam, I need to ask you something, and I need you to hear me out completely before you respond." "Of course, Elon. What's on your mind?" Elon took a deep breath and told him everything. X's vision, the details, the messages, all of it. Sam listened without interruption, and when Elon finished, there was a long pause. "Elon, in 30 years of ministry, I've heard many stories like this. Children often have spiritual experiences that adults struggle to understand or accept. The question isn't whether it really happened. The question is what you're going to do about it." "What do you mean?" "If X is telling the truth, and I believe children are often more open to spiritual encounters than adults, then you've been given a tremendous responsibility. The real question is, are you ready to accept it?" Before Elon could answer, his phone buzzed with a text from Grimes. "X keeps asking when he can talk to you. He says it's urgent." Elon's blood ran cold. "Sam, I have to go. X needs to talk to me." Within minutes, Elon was on a video call with his son. X looked different this time, more serious, more urgent. "Dad, Jesus came again. Last night. And this time, he showed me something." "What did he show you, buddy?" "He showed me the sky. It was all dark and scary, and people were crying. But then there was this bright light, and people started looking up and feeling better. And Dad, he said the light is coming from something you're going to do." Elon's hands were shaking now. "X, did he say anything else?" "He said to tell you that the sign is coming today. You'll know it when you see it, and when you do, you need to be ready to help people." "What kind of sign?" "He didn't say, but he said you'll know it's from him because it will make you think of me." The call ended, and Elon sat in his office, staring out the window at the clear blue sky. What kind of sign could possibly... His assistant knocked on the door. "Mr. Musk, you need to see the news. Something's happening." Elon turned on the television and felt his world stop. The headline read, "Mysterious lights appear across global skies, scientists baffled." The footage showed strange, beautiful lights dancing across the sky in dozens of cities worldwide. They weren't auroras, they were something entirely different, something that scientists couldn't explain. But what made Elon's knees weak was what one of the witnesses was saying on the news. The lights formed patterns that looked almost like letters. And the strangest thing, my 5-year-old daughter said they spelled out X in the sky. Elon grabbed his phone and called Sam immediately. Sam, are you watching the news? I am. Elon, I think your son's vision is more real than either of us imagined. What am I supposed to do with this? How am I supposed to help people when I don't even understand what's happening myself? Maybe that's the point. Maybe faith isn't about understanding. Maybe it's about trusting and acting despite not understanding. As Sam spoke, Elon received another call. It was from X. Dad, did you see the sign? I saw it, buddy. What does this mean? Jesus said to tell you that now people are going to start asking questions. Big questions. And you need to be ready to give them hope. But X, I don't know how to give people hope about something I don't understand myself. Jesus said that too. He said that's exactly why he chose you. Because you'll tell the truth about not understanding, and people will trust you because of that. Elon felt something shift inside him again, something much deeper than before. Maybe this was real. Maybe his son really was receiving messages that he was meant to share with the world. The mysterious lights appeared again the next night, and this time they lasted longer. News networks couldn't stop talking about them. Scientists offered theories, but none of them held up to scrutiny. The lights defied every known natural phenomenon. Elon's phone hadn't stopped ringing. Reporters, scientists, government officials, everyone wanted his opinion on what was happening, but he wasn't ready to speak publicly yet. He needed to understand more. X called him early the next morning, before the sun was up. Dad, Jesus was here again. He told me the most important thing yet. Elon was fully awake instantly. Tell me. He said that people are going to be scared of the lights. Some people are going to think they're bad, like aliens or something scary. But they're not. They're from God. They're a reminder that He's real and that He loves everyone. Did he say why they're happening now? Yeah, he said people have forgotten about God. They're too worried about other things, and they've stopped believing in good things. The lights are like a letter from God, reminding everyone that He's still here. Elon felt that familiar chill. X, did Jesus say what I'm supposed to do about this? He said, you need to tell people not to be scared. He said that because you're really smart, and people listen to you, when you tell them the lights are good, they'll believe you. But buddy, what if people ask me how I know they're good? What am I supposed to tell them? X was quiet for a moment, then said, tell them that your son told you. Tell them that Jesus told me, and I told you. Jesus said that people will believe it because it sounds impossible, and impossible things are how God shows He's real. After the call, Elon sat in his office, staring at his computer screen. He had social media accounts with millions of followers. He had platforms, influence, the ability to reach people all over the world. But using that influence to share his 5-year-old son's religious visions, that was a risk that could change everything. His phone rang. It was Sam again. Elon, I've been praying about this all night. I think God is asking you to step out in faith. Sam, you know what this could do to me professionally? People will think I've lost my mind. Maybe. But what if you're right? What if these visions are real? What if God really is trying to reach people through X and through you? Can you live with staying silent? That evening, the lights appeared again, brighter than ever. This time, they formed clear patterns that looked almost like words, though no one could agree on what they said. But Elon knew what X would tell him, they said. He picked up his phone and started typing a message to share with the world. His hands shook as he wrote, I need to share something with all of you. My 5-year-old son X has been having visions of Jesus. I know how that sounds. I'm a man of science, and this challenges everything I thought I knew, but I believe my son is telling the truth. He paused, reading the words back to himself. Once he posted this, there would be no going back. He continued typing. X told me that the lights we're all seeing are not something to fear. They're a sign from God, a reminder that we are not alone. According to my son, Jesus wants people to know that even when the world seems dark, there is still hope. Elon stared at the message for a long time. Everything in his logical mind told him not to post it. But something deeper, something he was just beginning to recognize as faith, told him he had to. He hit send. Within minutes, his phone exploded with notifications. The message was being shared, thousands of times per minute. News outlets were picking it up. The whole world was suddenly talking about Elon Musk's 5-year-old son and his visions of Jesus. Some people mocked him, others called him crazy. But something unexpected happened too. Thousands of people started sharing their own stories of hope, of faith, of moments when they'd felt God's presence in their lives. X called him that night, excited and happy. "Dad, you did it. You told everyone. Jesus is so happy. He said that people are going to start believing again because of what you did." Elon felt a warmth in his chest that he'd never experienced before. Maybe this was what faith felt like. The response to Elon's post was unlike anything anyone had ever seen. Within 24 hours, it had been shared millions of times across every social media platform. News networks around the world were running features about it. Religious leaders were weighing in, scientists were offering theories, and ordinary people were having conversations about faith and hope that many hadn't had in years. But more importantly, something else was happening. People were reporting their own spiritual experiences. Children all over the world were telling their parents about dreams and visions of Jesus. Adults were sharing stories of moments when they'd felt God's presence, but had been too afraid or embarrassed to talk about it before. Elon found himself at the center of a global spiritual awakening, and it was both thrilling and terrifying. X called him every day now, sharing new messages he said he was receiving from Jesus. Each conversation brought new instructions, new hope, and new challenges. "Dad, Jesus told me that something really big is going to happen soon. Bigger than the lights." Elon had learned to take these predictions seriously. What kind of big thing? He said that people who don't believe in God are going to try to make everyone stop talking about him. They're going to say that the lights are fake, or that I'm making everything up. But Jesus said not to worry, because he's going to prove that it's all real. How is he going to prove it? He's going to do something that no one can explain away. Something so amazing that even the people who don't want to believe will have to admit that God is real. That afternoon, Elon received a call from a major television network. They wanted him to do a live interview about the visions, the lights, and what he believed was happening. It would be watched by millions of people around the world. Elon hesitated. Going on television to discuss his son's religious visions would take this whole situation to another level entirely. But then he thought about all the messages he'd received from people who said his post had given them hope, had reminded them that they weren't alone, had brought them back to faith they thought they'd lost. He accepted the interview. The night before the broadcast, X called him with another message. "Dad, Jesus said that during your TV show tomorrow, he's going to give you a sign that everyone will see. He said it will happen right while you're talking, so everyone will know that what you're saying is true." "What kind of sign, X?" "He won't tell me exactly, but he said it will be beautiful, and it will make everyone watching feel peaceful and happy." Elon barely slept that night. The next evening, he sat in the television studio, facing cameras that would broadcast his words to millions of people around the world. The interviewer was respectful but skeptical, asking pointed questions about the visions, the lights, and whether Elon really believed his 5-year-old son was receiving messages from Jesus Christ. "I know how it sounds," Elon said, looking directly into the camera. "I'm a scientist. I believe in evidence, in proof, in things we can measure and quantify. But I also believe my son. The details he's shared, the consistency of his experiences, the profound impact they've had on him and on me, I can't ignore that." "But Mr. Musk," the interviewer pressed, "don't you think there could be other explanations? Children have vivid imaginations, perhaps." That's when it happened. Every screen in the studio, the cameras, the monitors, the phones of everyone in the audience, simultaneously displayed the same image. It was Jesus, exactly as X had described him, smiling gently and holding his hand up in a gesture of peace and blessing. The image lasted for exactly 30 seconds, during which the entire studio fell completely silent. When the screens returned to normal, everyone in the studio was staring at Elon with expressions of awe and disbelief. Did everyone else see that? The interviewer whispered. Elon nodded, feeling tears he didn't expect rolling down his cheeks. Yes, we all saw it. Later, they would discover that the same image had appeared simultaneously on every television screen, computer monitor, and phone screen around the world that was tuned to the broadcast. Technical experts would spend weeks trying to explain how it was possible, but no explanation would make sense. That night, X called Elon, more excited than he'd ever heard him. Dad, did you see? Did you see what Jesus did? I saw it, buddy. The whole world saw it. He said that now everyone will know that it's all real. And Dad, he said that this is just the beginning. He has so much more he wants to show everyone. Elon realized that his life, and possibly the world, had just changed. In the days following the broadcast, the world changed in ways that no one could have predicted. The impossible image that had appeared on screens worldwide had been recorded, analyzed, and verified by technical experts from every major company and government. No one could explain how it had happened, but no one could deny that it had. Churches around the world reported attendance numbers they hadn't seen in decades. People were having spiritual experiences, sharing stories of faith, and talking about God in ways that hadn't happened on such a scale in generations. But there was also pushback. Some scientists and skeptics worked overtime to debunk what had happened. Government officials worried about the implications of mass religious experiences. Some people became angry, claiming it was all an elaborate hoax or manipulation. X seemed unfazed by any of it. During their daily calls, he continued to share messages with the same innocent certainty he'd always had. Jesus told me that some people are going to be angry about all this, X said during one conversation. He said that's okay, because he understands why they're scared. When people have lived without God for a long time, remembering that he's real can feel scary at first. What did he say about the people who are trying to prove it's all fake? He said they're trying really hard to use science to explain him away, but that's impossible because he made science. He said it's like trying to use a drawing to prove that the person who drew it doesn't exist. Elon found himself smiling at his son's simple wisdom. These conversations had become the highlight of his days. Through X, he felt like he was having direct communication with something greater than himself, something that was gradually transforming not just his understanding of the world, but his entire approach to life. X, did Jesus say anything about what's going to happen next? Yeah, he said that soon people are going to start seeing him too. Not just me. Other kids first, then grown-ups. He said that everyone who really wants to see him will get to. What about the people who don't want to see him? He said that's okay too. He won't force anyone. But he said that even the people who don't want to believe will still benefit from all the love and hope that's spreading around the world. That prediction began coming true within weeks. Children around the world started reporting visions of Jesus, describing him in remarkably consistent ways. Then teenagers began sharing their experiences. Soon adults were having encounters too, in dreams, in moments of prayer, in quiet times, when they opened their hearts to the possibility. Elon found himself in the unique position of being a spokesman for a global spiritual awakening. He was invited to speak at churches, conferences, and gatherings around the world. People wanted to hear from the man whose son had started it all. But the most profound changes were happening in his own life. The daily conversations with X were transforming his understanding of faith, hope, and love. He began to see his work differently, his relationships differently, his purpose differently. Dad, X said during one of their calls, Jesus wants me to tell you something really important. What is it, buddy? He said that everything that's happening, all the visions, all the people believing again, all the hope that's spreading around the world, it's not the most important thing. Elon was surprised. It's not? Then what is? The most important thing is what's happening to you. Jesus said that watching you learn to believe, watching you open your heart to him, that's what makes him the happiest. Because he's loved you your whole life, even when you didn't know it. Tears filled Elon's eyes. In that moment, he understood something he'd never grasped before. This entire experience, X's visions, the global spiritual awakening, the signs and wonders. It had all been orchestrated not just to bring faith back to the world, but to bring faith to him personally. X, tell Jesus that I love him too. Tell him that I believe. I will, Dad. But he already knows. He said he's been waiting your whole life to hear you say that.